Hi, I'm David Gerard and this is Pivot to AI, coming to you daily. Today, the Walt Disney Company comes up with two really good reasons why Hollywood might really not want generative AI in films. One is copyright. Two, the fans whose money they want will rip them to shreds. Like all the movie studios, Disney is extremely into its live-action remakes of old cartoons. Line-by-line, live-ish remakes is one of the kids' film genres now, with DreamWorks' Smirk 15 and Sequel 2, Sequel Harder. We went out and saw the How to Train Your Dragon remake the other month. It's a great movie, specifically because it's a nearly line-by-line identical remake of the original cartoon. The kid was not impressed. Our esteemed friend Steve Ferrugia, YouTube Faster and Worse, I highly recommend the channel, took his kids to the line-by-line remake of Lilo and Stitch, and his kids were just as unimpressed. So, Disney has set to work on recycling some ideas, because God forbid they do something original. They're doing a live-action remake of the 2016 film Moana, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson back in his role as the demigod Maui. They couldn't get Johnson for all the filming days they needed, and the executives still really want to replace actors with machines, keep them from getting ideas, So they were going to get in Johnson's equally large cousin, Tanawi Reed, as a body double. Then they'd AI face swap Johnson's face onto Reed's, using a deep fake they got from AI company Metaphysic. Johnson signed off on this plan, but it fell at the Disney lawyers. Specifically, they worried the AI-generated images might not be entirely copyrightable. Now, face swapping like this isn't normally done with generative AI, but the US Copyright Office has ruled that purely AI-generated images don't get a copyright in the US, and Disney lawyers are worried about it because they are super cautious about clinging to their copyrights. They almost certainly wouldn't lose the copyright in their characters, but not owning every twitch of every asset on the screen is something they actively worry about AI affecting. Quote, "Studios fear a future in which they don't own every element of a finished film, and no studio attorney wants to be the one to unwittingly let that happen." Disney employees who want to feed corporate information into generative AI tools for company business must first seek approval from an AI committee. Unquote. And Disney is currently suing AI image site Midjourney over letting people generate copies of Disney characters. So none of the AI-tweaked Johnson footage will be in the release version of the live-action Moana. Disney was also worried about the, quote, fan backlash. The Wall Street Journal article spends less lines on that than it does the lawyers, but the fan backlash is a big factor. And the writers and actors unions are still very pissed off about all the AI stuff, and Disney doesn't want to mess up the next round of negotiations, even if the Dwayne Johnson face swap isn't generative AI as such, because it's all marketed as AI. The Disney executives are still convinced that AI is inevitable, because they really want it to be. The execs were wowed by impressive demos of video generators like Google's Veo 3, which do not, in fact, work for any more than 7-second snippets, as we've shown you previously. But the Disney execs don't actually know anything about films, so they were flabbergasted. Quote, "At Disney's annual management retreat in Orlando earlier this year, Rob Bredow, a senior vice president at Disney's Lucasfilm, gave a presentation showing the rapid advances of generative AI tools, some of which can generate images and scenes that, to the casual eye, appear as good as professional productions." Unquote. That line, "to the casual eye," is doing 110% of the work in that sentence. But the execs think AI movie generators are here any moment. But they also want to avoid any risk to owning every version of everything even more. Disney was going to use AI imagery for the new Tron movie, Tron Ares. The movie is about an AI-generated soldier who enters the real world. They thought having an AI-generated character, a sidekick called Bit, might be a buzzy marketing strategy. But as well as the writers and actors unions making a fuss, quote, executives internally were told that the company couldn't risk the bad publicity, unquote. Now that's really good news. They're worried. I showed someone the YouTube thumbnail for this episode just before I recorded. This was the first they'd heard of AI being anywhere near the new Tron movie, and they said they'd have ripped up their ticket. And now Disney knows that's the immediate fan reaction. You know what that means, right? Bullying the prompt fondlers works. Bullying the corporations works. Bully them harder. Thanks for tuning in to Pivot to AI. If you found this episode useful and informative, please tell just one other person, because word of mouth is the best thing. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a podcast review, and you can help our work here at Pivot by putting just $5 into the Patreon linked in the show notes below. It helps a lot. Thank you all. See you tomorrow, and bye for now.